Yes. So you know what that sound means. It's time for In the Paddock F1. Greeny and the Cheese. We have reached South America. The third stop in the 3 consecutive stops in the Americas at a place we know. We are in Sao Paulo for the 50th time. We race in Brazil, Sao Paulo. Over 30 million people live in that metro area. It's a lot of people living around there. It's also known for its museums, art galleries, the architecture. It's also the birthplace of former F1 drivers Felipe Massa, Rubens Barrichello, and world champions Emerson Fittipaldi, and of course, Ayrton Senna.
Of course.
And we raced the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace. But we really all know it as Interlagos. 2.67 miles, 15 corners, up and down those Brazilian hills. You give it the full beans for 57% of your lap. And Interlagos never disappoints. Wow, boy, howdy. Did we get a good one on this Sunday? Oh man, Leclerc gets an electronics failure on the formation lap and causes him to crash out. Oh man, and then the start, we didn't even get through turn 1 before we get a crash. And the madness from there, we get a safety car, a red flag, the restart, and then Max was off and away. Lando battled him for a few laps there, which was pretty good. We had some great passes through the field, but in the end, Max takes his 17th victory of the season. Red Bull's 19th of the season. Lando takes second. And oh man, did we get a battle there at the end for the podium between Alonzo and Perez. But it's the ancient one taking it by 0.053 seconds in an epic duel. We're caffeinated, we're medicated. Greeny, good evening, sir.
Good. Yeah. Good evening, team. How are you? We were supposed to have an opening theme.
I'm fine. You sound like you're a little rough there.
It was a little rough there. It's been a rough week. It's been a rough day. Interlagos always gets me kerfuffled. And so does the theme song not playing when you hit the button. But we will continue on because we're professionals. Greeny and the Cheese in the Paddock F1. Brazil, Interlagos. 17th win. Is that the 17th win for Max? 16?
17.
19 for Red Bull. This is uncharted territory. Of course, the number of races we have is uncharted as well. For those of you who might just be following Formula One, yeah, we didn't always have 23 races on the calendar, but still unbelievable. Unbelievable. He has now surpassed the number of races that there once was not that long ago on the Formula One calendar.
Yep.
So here we go. And anything more to say that you haven't said already this season about Max Verstappen that you want to say now? We're going to talk about Ferrari. We're going to talk about Alonzo. But before we get into really, I think the real story today was Fernando, Alonzo, and Sergio Perez. I think that was a real story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which foreshadows, again, a record-breaking day for Max Verstappen.
One thing you can say about Max is it's going to break another record. A 71-year-old record. Alberto Ascari, way back in the day, had a 75% win percentage for the season, which was the record. Max currently stands at 85% win percentage versus race starts. If he doesn't win the next 2 races, that'll drop it down to 77.3%. Therefore, the record. That record has stood for 71 years. So stick that in his hat, too.
Wow. It was probably 1952 in the Alpha, in the old Alfa Romeo.
I mean, that's ridiculous. To be sitting at 85% win percentage in any racing level is stupid. That's stupid. That's just stupid.
That's insane at really any sporting level outside of really an individual sport. And I would say Formula One is not an individual sport. I think most racing isn't. But yeah, it's up there with elite all time. You're talking all time elite. And there's a lot, ladies and gentlemen, that has Max getting this number where Lewis Hamilton never did, where Michael Schumacher never approached over 75%. The greatest of all time, the Mount Rushmore of all time. I think that's all redundant, but you know what I mean.
Yep.
That's what it is. And he's beating that. He's third all time now in wins. Is that his third all time in wins? Only behind Lewis Hamilton and Michael Schumacher. By a lot.
Yeah.
By a lot
so.
now. I mean, there's still like 50-something wins to go, like, till he gets there. It's crazy, but he's there. He's there. He's in the conversation, and those of us who've been watching Max on the Formula One level since he was 16 years old, he didn't even have a license in, I think, 7 or 8 races. He wouldn't have been licensed to drive a vehicle. I think more than that.
Yeah, to drive in that country. Yeah,
to drive in that country.
Yeah,
when he started racing, and now he's the greatest, really, of this generation. The post Lewis Hamilton generation. He is the poster boy for that next generation. It feels like we're gonna have a Lewis Hamilton or a Schumacher, but he's even younger than that. He's even younger than them when they started winning. So. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But what happened in Interlagos is another.
Well, he also said Max said he's not going to, he's not going to be, he's not going to end up racing, forever either. He's got a lot of other things he wants to do. So, he could win a bunch of titles and then just hang him up. I mean, Schumacher did it. I mean, at the top of Schumacher's game, he just said that that's it. I'm done for now. And he did come back few years down the road, but it's just absolutely just ridiculous the season he's having this season. It's unreal. It's absolutely unreal.
Absolutely ridiculous. Unreal. And you know what else is absolutely unreal? That's Fernando Alonso. How did you feel sitting there on the couch watching Fernando Alonso and Sergio Perez put in an epic battle? And that's as good as we're going to get, folks. That might be as good as we're going to get for the next couple of years.
That was a great duel. I mean, that's as good as you've seen in probably a while. I mean, even the battles between Lewis and Max a few years back weren't like that, like lap after lap after lap, and Fernando in the inferior car just bringing every tool out of the toolbox. Taking wild lines, but knowing that he'd be able to get the traction that he needed to hang on to that position. Just absolutely unreal. I mean, he made some fantastic moves earlier in the race too. Right off the start there when he made the pass on Lewis after the restart without the DRS, just getting that slipstream and throwing the car down in the corner like that. But just that duel and just he pulled every trick out of the book that he could think of to hold on to that. It's unreal. It was brilliant. It was probably the best driving I've seen in a very long time. Very long time.
Epic.
That was absolutely impressive.
And I think it puts us in a spot where what does Fernando Alonso's future hold? I mean, is this it for him? Is Fernando going to be around? Is this over? Is this over?
As far as I know, he's asked the next year as well. So, I mean, there's a rumor floating around there for a minute that he's going to take over Perez's seat. It was just some trash that people threw out there on the web there. But I mean, I wouldn't see that why the Red Bull wouldn't go for that, because Alonso's probably one of the only drivers on the grid that wouldn't wither to the pressure probably.
If Fernando Alonso,
because the man's
Sergio Perez, if Fernando Alonso and Sergio Perez switch seats,
absolutely unreal.
Switch seats from day one this season, is it clear that Fernando Alonso would have been number 2? Clearly. Far and away. And would have challenged Max Verstappen probably for some of those wins. Think about it.
Probably, yeah.
Think about it. If Fernando Alonso was in that seat, he's probably he might be the driver of the year. And I think people forgot about Fernando because he had that hot start. He was up there, podium after podium after podium early in the season, and then I think Aston Martin itself slipped. I mean, and I don't know what did Aston Martin do to get back in this situation. What did they do over the last 3 weeks to put them in a situation?
I have absolutely no idea. Maybe they figured out that maybe they figured out these upgrades that they brought that put the car to trash that Fernando said was absolute garbage, and now they get a podium a week later, because then the U.S. Grand Prix said it was absolute trash, and a week later it's he's on the podium. So I guess they figured out how to set the car up better with the upgrades that they had to get the maximum performance out of it, apparently. Interlagos maybe just suits the car better. I mean, we've seen that from different teams this season that, track to track. Mercedes has looked great the last, few races, and this week it was a hunk of junk. It was like they were driving with a parachute on the back.
Yeah, we didn't even mention Mercedes yet. I'm sure we'll get to them.
That was an absolute slap slow from them this week. I mean, Toto said the car is absolute trash. He actually felt sorry for the drivers that they had to drive that piece of garbage. So I think it was Toto's exact words. So I mean, that's rough. Getting to the Ferrari disaster again with electronic failure and don't even get to the grid again. I mean, superb to that one. That's just ridiculous. Like ridiculous. You lose the electronics, it turns off.
All right.
Turns off the hydraulics and everything else. Is a mess.
We're gonna have a lot more to say, and you have a lot more to say, and I want you to have a lot more to say. We're gonna breathe for a second because you're giving up the whole show, man. You're giving up the whole show. So we're gonna chill on that. We're going to ice it down. We're going to take like a 2-minute breather. We'll be back in the paddock. Just breathe, man. Just breathe. You haven't even talked about Carlos Sainz yet. I haven't even mentioned Haas in the first segment. In the paddock, F1 green cheese.
Just don't need to mention Haas ever in the first segment.
In the paddock, F1 greenie and the cheese. You're shaking your head, sir, because is that for me? Because I'm about to get rocked by whatever you're about to bring here. It is, of course, Quizmaster's Cockpit, and of course, I might get one right tonight. I'm on a streak where you
should get them all.
Personally, you say that before, and that means I'm getting none. That means I'm getting none. You guys, I need everyone listening to go to YouTube and to comment and let me know how bad I'm failing at this. And if you got the answers right as well, because I think that's important to see how tricky your questions are.
Well, I actually think these three are pretty easy.
Right.
2 of them are repeats from last year.
Oh, yeah, then I'm definitely getting those wrong.
Just want to make it a little easier for you.
Oh, God. I was thinking all day I got to listen to last year's show. And guess what? I didn't listen to last year's show.
Well, of course you did. All right, here we go. Quizmaster's Cockpit. We got you strapped in, your helmet on. Take that swig of your Gatorade. Let's do this. Question number 1, sir. How many times has F1 raced in Brazil?
50?
That is correct, sir.
I don't even have the bell working. I got nothing working. But keep going. That's a correct
sounds about
answer.
Right. When you actually get one right, the bell don't work. That is a correct answer, sir.
I got nothing working.
That absolutely sounds about right. That sounds about right. Question number 2, sir. Who has the most wins in Formula One at Interlagos?
Damn it. not Max. Is it Prost? Is that Alain Prost?
That is correct, sir.
Wow. I got no bell.
6.
I got no bell. I'll edit it in afterwards. So therefore, if you're listening to the show, you will hear the bell. This is nerve-wracking.
2 for 2.
This is absolutely nerve-wracking.
Come down to question number 3.
Wow.
Purple sector. Can he put it all together?
It's been a while.
Question number 3. Has been a very long time. 5 Brazilians have won their home Grand Prix. Name them.
Senna.
Of course.
Emerson Fittipaldi.
Yes.
Nelson Piquet.
Yes.
Massa won, right? Felipe?
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
It's 4.
5. Wasn't the Carlos Pace, who the track was named after?
That is correct.
No.
Wow. A 3 for 3. Yes, that is correct, sir. Wow. And you don't have the bell. How disappointing is that for you? You're absolutely crushed.
As a producer of the Greenie and the Cheese show.
Wow. Well done, sir. That is 3 purple sectors. That is a hot lap in Quizmaster's cockpit.
Wow.
It's been a long time since we could say that one.
It's been a long time. I hit the books this week. That's for sure. I had to hit the books this week.
Well, because of your performance as the Creed on this program in an episode a while back.
I got to dust off winners. Hang on.
Cockpit determines where we go here. So
I got to
we're
dust
going
the winners off. I got to dust it off.
All right, so here we go. Winners for a change. Wow. This feels like a millennia since we're able to do this.
Old school. We're going old school.
You know what? We trashed him on this show enough. Lance Stroll, top 5 finish. I mean,
as disappointing as it is, you got to give it to him.
Solid drive.
You got to give it to him.
I mean, you got to give it to him. It was a really good drive. Top 5 finish. With him and Alonzo finishing 3rd and 5th. That's buku points that Aston Martin picks up that they absolutely needed with that fight for McLaren. The spot there in the World Championship standings for the constructors. And Alpine having some recent struggles getting both cars to finish or anything, and Gasly 7th, Ocon 10th, double points finish. It's a good finish for Alpine. Good finish. Car showed a little bit of pace. I was a little surprised. I'll stop there with my winners.
You know, it's an interesting board this week. Obviously, Fernando Alonso and Lando Norris, obviously, they're, of course, winners this week. Fernando Alonso especially. But, I mean, we spoke about him at length. I got to look at Yuki. I mean, that's a cop-out. Lando finished 2nd. Anyone on the podium, he's a winner. And he's been racing much better. And McLaren's been much better.
The car's better, so...
Kind of got to give it to Yuki Tsunoda. Someone else we trash consistently. Some guy who couldn't even beat his teammate who's been out of the sport for a couple of years. And it comes back and finally gets in the points. I know he didn't make the points, but Logan Sargent, he tried. He tried hard this week. Finishing 11th. Got to give a little love to Logan Sargent this week.
A quarter of the fields, didn't finish the race.
I get it, but he's been so bad.
It is still an 11th place finish.
He's been so bad and so outclassed. He's been so outclassed this year by his teammates, especially. Not that he was gonna, take on Albon.
Albon shouldn't be.
He wasn't going to take on Albon.
We both agree on that.
Yeah,
he definitely deserves to be. He definitely deserves to be in a better car.
And
we could both agree on that.
That's all I got for my winners. So that means losers, sir.
All right. Alfa Romeo, double DNF again.
Again.
I mean, that's happening a bit too much recently. The car shows like some performance too, so it's kind of a shame. I mean, Bottas was, cutting through the field last week a little bit there and from the back, but it's just, a lot of DNFs over there at Alfa. I mean, I touched on it in the first, but I gotta give it to Merck. I mean, that was right off the bat of that race. You had your chance to gain a bunch of points against Ferrari, with one driver not even starting a darn race, and then you end up losing points to Ferrari. How about that? You know what? Get Carlos in the winners right there for that performance. They only gained, I think, something like 4 points on Merck, but you know what? They still gain points. I think it's like a 20-point gap now between the two teams.
Crucial.
So that was big. That was crucial. That was crucial. So, and the Merck has been performing well, and how they got it that wrong. How they were talking about the car being, moving in the right direction, and all of a sudden it falls off the cliff like that. Yeah, you got to put them in the losers.
Russell, so close to finishing, but didn't finish. The car was going to explode.
Yeah,
I think he wanted to finish the race, but no, he wasn't going to. He wasn't going to get the points anyway, even if he finished. What a disaster! What a disastrous weekend. I think there's only one loser that I got to give it to, and that's Sergio Perez. How do you lose the podium spot? Like, how do you lose the podium spot there? No offense to Fernando Alonso. I'm not giving any Fernando, and he pulled out every stop. But a lot of guys pull out every stop, a lot of weeks, and they aren't able to make the pass. Fernando should not, and I know it's awesome that he made another podium, he should not have passed Sergio Perez. There's no logic as far as the car, as far as anything. If you look at the raw numbers of Aston Martin versus Red Bull's performance on the track, Fernando Alonso should never had the chance to come back and pass him. There's no way. He did something wrong, whether he eased up, whether he wasn't pulling good laps. There's no reason, one-on-one, you race 71 laps with computers driving those cars just based on those numbers, and Fernando Alonso doesn't come close. But when you have drivers and you actually, driving out there, it was bad, man. Mm-hmm. It was bad. And Sergio Perez, I think this week specifically, and that's race specifically, Sergio Perez showed why he doesn't deserve that seat. And it's sad. It's sad. He should.
Will that only take us to
one thing?
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, because of where Lewis finished, and I think what's that? I think the gap now between Lewis and Perez now is like 32 points, somewhere in that range. I think
it's close. It's close.
So I mean, he's probably going to get second now. If those in some decent finishes, some decent point finishes, top 5. He'll lock up that second.
All right, dude. So what does that bring us to?
But that only leads us to one spot, sir.
I need to slap my goddamn.
I think Captain Safety's coming out. I think I see the yellow jacket.
The yellow jacket should come out. The yellow jacket should come out. I'm pissed as hell. You're going to give this to me now? You're just going to throw it right up to me? I wasn't even prepared for it.
Well, absolutely. Because this is right up your alley on who gets the slap this week, because we both agreed on it.
It was... I mean, I don't know if you threw it out there, but whatever.
It's got it.
Whatever happened.
You have to.
Whatever happened, and I'm trying to find it now. But whatever the hell happened, how did race fans get on the track before the race was over? And we've talked about this before, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely out of control how you have cars going 200 miles an hour, and fans are just busting through the doors. You got to see the video. Did you see the video? Did you see the videos? It's all cell phone videos.
Yeah.
Of these lunatics out there. It's all cell phone videos of these lunatics. I saw it on Instagram earlier today. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm just going to leave it at that right now. And if you saw it, check it out. I only saw it on Instagram. I should have brought it up beforehand. I blew it. Terrible production. Fans are going on the track. They're on the track. They're busting through the doors, and they're coming over the walls, and they're jumping down, and they're on the track before the race is over. Forget about Captain Say. Someone's going to die out there, and it's going to happen because we've had these situations too many times, too close. We had the whether it be situations in the pit, in the pit lane, where you have these guys not paying attention in the pit lane, standing there when vehicles are coming in, especially on the last lap, especially as we see more and more. We see it all the time. Guys coming in for softs with 1 lap to go to try to get fastest lap. You got to be paying attention out there. The last lap of the race has to get locked down. We are way too complacent. Max Verstappen's 20 seconds ahead. Nobody's catching up. Yay, rah, rah. He crosses the line. And in that 20 seconds gap, for whatever reason, or that 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds Max has very often from first to second, as soon as Max goes over the line, that 30 seconds gets very, very dangerous. It gets very, very dangerous. We have cars coming in around that time to pit again, like I just said, coming in for softs, trying to get best lap time. We have fans that just want to get on the track because technically the race is over. The checkered flag has been thrown. I don't know, maybe we stop the race there, but then we wouldn't get what we got yesterday with Fernando Alonso, and we would have got robbed of that with Fernando Alonso and Sergio Perez. So it's absolute madness. I don't know what needs to be done. I don't know if it was a one-off situation, but we've seen this way too often. We've only been on for the last 3 seasons, and we've spoken about these situations way too often over the last couple of years. And I keep saying someone is going to die, and someone is going to die on a racetrack. It's happened way too many times before. After the late 60s, early 70s, when we just had madness on the track, so much was changed, so many safety rules, and they've continued since then. I implore the FIA, I implore F1 to look into this and not ignore it. Not ignore it. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. People on the track with cars doing 200 miles an hour. Yeah. And for the driver's sake as well. I don't think anyone wants to be in a situation where they hit someone, the driver as well. But it's the venues. It's on the venue and the FIA to get together and solve this problem. Yeah. That's it. Listen, we're way over. So we're going to go for like 8 seconds and we're going to be back just like that. Once again, I need to take a safety class and listen, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're watching us on YouTube, then just go wherever you get podcasts and listen to us there. The best way to support us is to follow us, is to like us, is to watch these videos. That's it. We don't sell anything. We don't charge for any of our content. We just subscribe, like, follow, listen. That's all we ask for. Greenie and the Cheese and the Paddock F1. Back in Flash.
Ah, yes. We're back in the Paddock F1. Greenie and the Cheese. Oh, you know what that sound mean, boys and girls? It's time to take that fantasy ride to that fantasy island of Greetovia, where the beer flows like wine and the wine flows like beer. And that cannabis, oh yeah, it grows as far as the eyes can see. Oh, look at it. Look at it out there. Green and luscious. Take a little whiff. That air smells fantastic. And as always, we take a little walk to the top of the hill of that casino at the top. Tickets in hand, are we cashing in or are we? Check it out. Freaking SOB Hamilton kicked my ass this week.
SOB indeed. I tried to bury you this week, and it completely backfired. So I don't even know what you bet. It doesn't really matter right now. It doesn't really matter. You took Max for the win. Who was your gainer? You missed that because I think it was...
Mm-hmm.
Was it Logan Sargent?
Danny Rick, too?
I took Danny
No,
Rick.
I had Danny Rick.
I think I had Danny Rick as well. Well, that was a bum. That was a bum pick. +4 for Danny Rick. +8 for Pierre Gasly.
Really wasn't his fault when he get hit by a bouncing tire that comes flying down the track at you and hits you, knocks out your rear wing. I mean, we're gonna do that.
That's every driver's worst nightmare. But Pierre Gasly, +8.
Yep.
He takes that biggest gainer, and yeah, so didn't see that one coming. Should have seen that one coming.
Nope.
But there you go. So I am down. I took down about 750 greenie bucks, so I'm at a reasonable 7,760 greenie bucks, and I think you also went down, but reasonably. So I think you're now at back to 5,450 greenie bucks. So there's still significant. You have to hit that trifecta. You probably gotta hit it twice at this point.
Oh, we're going.
But you gotta hit it once.
We're going big next race, baby. We're going
You gotta
big
hit it
in
once.
Vegas. We're going big. We're going
Big in Vegas. I don't know if I can go big,
throw it
but I
down.
probably can't go conservative. The last time I went to Vegas,
I'm gonna go Mad Hatter in Vegas. I mean, it's
Wow.
Vegas. Let's go big.
wow,
Let's go big.
it all comes down to
Big.
this.
I mean, if he can't make it up, he can't make it up then. He ain't gonna make it up the last race either. So let's go for it. We're gonna send it. We're gonna send it in Vegas. Talking maybe some thousands bets coming out then during that race. It's gonna
You'll
be
be heading to the casino at the top of that hill that time. I like that as a metaphor for smoking weed, actually. I was asking someone, like, what are you going to do? He's like, you know what I'm going to do, about to get high. I'm like, oh, you're heading to the casino at the top of the hill? He knew what I was talking about. He knew what I was talking about. You heading to that casino at the top of the hill? Hell yeah, I am. All right. Where you going today after work? Yeah, I'm headed to the casino at the top of that hill. Yeah.
Hey, baby.
Cash in or you check it out every day.
It's good.
That's what I say every day when I get out of work. Every day when I get out of work. What are you going to do? Are you cashing in or check it out? I don't know. That's a good question to ask yourself every day. If you're not cashing in every day, there's problems. That's a whole different show. But sir, that leaves us with only one thing on the evening. It's a whole different show. You got some news for me?
It's time for In the News.
In the news. I'm pumped. I'm pumped for some news. There's a lot of news going on.
I gotta pull it together. I gotta pull it together.
That's all right. It's a podcast. There's no.
From what Williams said, it looks like Logan Sargent's gonna keep his seat there. Williams, does he deserve it, sir?
I gave him the winner this week. Pretty rare. I think that might have been the first time in the winner's circle here on the Greenie that she's broadcast.
No, he got it a few races ago when he got points.
Oh yeah. Listen, I don't know what direction Williams is going. I don't know how good Alex Albon really is outside of the Williams. He might be great outside of the Williams, or the Williams might have been a better car this year than we thought it was. Or
it's definitely a better car than it has been.
Or there's a lot of junk teams out there.
Well, that's...
So which one is it? And I think giving Logan Sargent A, he's an American, B, there's 3 races in the U.S., you're not really going to have a situation where Haas is representing your country. And Haas really wants to represent the U.S., and the FIA does not want Haas to represent the U.S. in 15% of its races, home races for Haas. It's a difficult situation, so at least you have a side story with Logan Sargent, and maybe they continue on and find another American driver to put in there, because I think it's important. You have 3 races in the U.S.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. The FIA wants an American driver on the grid. Those are just facts. Those are facts. Let's be honest. I mean, 3 races in one country. Yeah.
All right. What else you got in the news?
Perez finished 4th, and as I stated earlier, has a 32-point lead now on Lewis for second place in the championship. Will a finish of 1-2 keep his seat at Red Bull?
Well, I mean, they're just lucky Mercedes stinks at the moment. Ferrari hasn't been able to get out of its own way all season. I say it every single I say it every single show. If Mercedes and Ferrari were 15% better across the board this year, Sergio Perez would have switched seats with Yuki Tsunoda. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Sergio's having one of the worst seasons I can remember for a secondary driver, and to a champion. When's the last time we had a champion whose secondary driver still came in second only because the rest of the field is so terrible? But didn't this poor of a season? I just fail to remember one, especially in the last 10 years, that the second driver has been. I mean, Valtteri Bottas was never this bad. Involved. I mean, no, as a second driver to Lewis. I mean, I'm just trying to think.
I mean, Red Bull never had a 1-2 when they were dominant those, 4 years with Seb.
Yeah, true.
I mean, they never had a
Weber.
1-2.
I mean,
they had a 1-3 was the best they ever did with Weber.
Yeah, so Weber was probably.
The best they did was a 1-3 with Weber.
But it's been a while. So let's say in the last 10 years. Really. And really in the modern era, right? In the modern design era of these vehicles.
Well, in the new hybrid era, was Merc with, you had Merc for the
pretty much that's it, and that was Rebel.
All those years, you had Lewis and Rosberg and Lewis and Bottas.
But it's been in the last 10 years we have not seen it.
No.
We haven't seen it in any of the pairings, and this is just not what we want to see from a driver like that. There was just the reason there was no competition this year is because Sergio Perez led the charge and to make sure there was no competition for Max. And Mercedes and Ferrari did a great job in screwing up. Aston Martin could not put a full season together. McLaren couldn't put a full season together. No one could put a full season together, and that's the way it happens sometimes. Nobody was able to put a full season together. We've seen it before. I just can't remember the last time that 4 teams have not been able to put more than half a season together. We've been amazing for half a season and absolutely can't get out of their own way for another half of the season. And it happens.
Yeah.
Most notably for Ferrari over 6 of the last 10 years. You can attest to that. So they ran half a season. But now it's like everyone's playing a half a season except for Max Verstappen, who is once again so impressive, basically going wire to wire the whole season.
Yeah.
What else you got in the news here before we finish it up?
I got two more for you.
Two more.
I got two more for you. Two more. Was the Perez Alonzo battle that final podium spot one of the best duels you've ever seen?
I think we talked about that. I don't think the best duel I've ever seen. I mean, there's a lot of duels. I mean, that's a tough ever. No. Very impressive. Very impressive. As far as recent memory,
yes.
I mean, I hate to even talk about the last time we've even seen anything close is the closing in Abu Dhabi. Where Max beat Lewis or Lewis beat Max, depending on which squad you're on. But
with Rosberg and Lewis when they were going battling super hard. I mean, probably the best.
That was all for first, though.
Probably goes back to. I mean, best battles I can really remember, just dudes going at it, would be Senna Prost's teammates. I mean, that was like weekly.
Yeah. That was for years.
That was weekly.
Went on for years.
It was so. So I'd go back to probably those as probably some of the best battles. One more question for you. What did you think of that grid walk with Martin Brundle and that chat he had with Machine Gun Kelly?
This is the problem, and I say it all the time. We don't really talk on the show about the grid walk with Martin Brundle. You can't hear anything. I would be useless, right? So when I'm at a bar or at a club, which I find myself way more often than I did 10 years ago, crazy enough, I can't hear anything. When people are talking to me, I cannot hear anything going on. So, I mean, he was probably inebriated. It's Machine Gun Kelly. He was probably inebriated in some way. Your name's Machine Gun. So I know there was problems. I know there was problems in the past with Martin Brundle. I know when we have Americans who have no idea who Martin Brundle is and don't get the shtick, right, and don't understand it. But you have the loud cars. You have so much going on. It's really hard to hear. I know he was playing with his pop. He didn't understand the poppy, which that was a bad move as far as Machine Gun Kelly. That's what started the whole conversation. He was looking at his poppy, which obviously those who know represents really around the world. For veterans and for soldiers and for those who have served for their country, and he didn't know what that was. Machine Gun Kelly didn't, and he also didn't know who Martin Brundle was. And it's loud, and it's weird. And these are people who just get interviewed constantly, all the time. All the time. There's people in their face with microphones trying to talk to them, trying to get something out of them, and he had no idea who Martin Brundle was, and Martin Brundle, I'm not sure, really knew who Machine Gun Kelly was if someone said, that's Machine Gun Kelly, and he walked over to him. Martin Brundle was lost out there, too.
Brundle knew he was a musician. I mean, I don't even know who Machine Gun. If I would have thought he was a boxer with a name like that, to be honest. I mean, that sounds like a boxer's name, not a musician's name.
I think you're thinking of Rocky IV. You're definitely thinking of Rocky IV. Tommy the Machine Gun.
That was Rocky V. Rocky IV.
Rocky V. Rocky V. My bad. That was a bad job I made. It was definitely Rocky V.
And Rocky V, that was a bad Rocky too.
That was a bad movie. That was the first movie I ever walked out on. I was old enough to actually see that movie. All right, sir.
Yeah, I should have walked out on that. Oh, never mind.
Machine Gun Kelly aside.
That's all I got for you in the news.
Speaking of crazy Americans, sir, where are we going next?
Oh, we're going to Vegas, baby. Was it a week's? We got 2 weeks, so not this weekend, the weekend after. Oh, yeah. We're going to throw down some gambling that week, boys and girls. Have some fun.
Who will be
Under the
who will
lights.
be throwing the flag? Will we see Vince Vaughn, the man who coined the phrase "Vegas, baby"?
I don't know. I don't know. There'll be celebrities all over Vegas that week.
Be a lot of celebrities. If you
one hell of a party.
It's going to be absolutely insane. You do not miss Martin Brundle's grid walk in Vegas. If anything, do not miss Martin Brundle. That is must. Forget about the race. Forget about the race. I want to see Martin Brundle. There's going to be celebrity. He has no idea. He's going to have no clue. Cheese. He's going to have no clue what's going on. They're going to have no clue. Got a lot of newbies who have probably never been to a race before.
It's pretty entertaining. We'll get some entertainment. Get your tickets.
Get your tickets.
The Grid Walk's entertainment.
All right, dude. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
In Vegas, baby.
As always, stay medicated, my friends.
Peace.
Peace.
It's a good show. Had you cracking up all of a sudden.